18 inches. That 18 inches is the difference, the gap between your head and your heart. 18 inches separates almost every single person from greatness. And these experiences, going through this, I believe, closes that gap. And I want to share an experience that I had 25 years ago that helped close the gap between my head and my heart. And I watched in 1993 the ESPY Awards. And I watched a coach, a famous American basketball coach, Jim Valvano, at this award ceremony receive the first Arthur Ashe Award for courage. And Jim Valvano received this award because he was a great basketball coach and he led his team to one of the greatest victories in college basketball history. Their team was a huge underdog. Later on, he had a battle with cancer. And on that night, March 3rd, 1993, Jim Valvano, with the help of ESPN, started the Jimmy V Foundation. That foundation, to date, has generated over $200 million to help the fight against cancer. And I want to show you a 90-second, the opening clip of that presentation. You can show that, please.
That's the way it goes. Time is very precious to me. I don't know how much I have left, and I have some things that I would like to say. Hopefully, at the end, I'll have something that will be important to other people too. But I can't help it. Now I'm fighting cancer. Everybody knows that. And people ask me all the time about how you go through your life and how's your day. And nothing has changed for me. As Dick said, I'm a very emotional, passionate man. I can't help it. That's being the son of Rocco and Angelina Valvano. It comes with the territory. Right? We hug, we kiss, we love. And when people say to me, how do you get through life or each day is the same thing? To me, there are three things we all should do every day. If we do this every day of our life, you're going to have, what a wonderful, number one is laugh. You should laugh every day. Number two is think. You should spend some time in thought. And number three is you should have your emotions moved to tears. Could be happiness or joy. Think about it. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, you're going to have something special.
90-second clip. There was two profound messages that I walked away with. Number one, time is precious. See, we don't quite understand that gift of time. How do we spend our time? How do we use our time? You know what? It's more important than that. How do we prioritize our time? It's not about time management. It's about priority management. What are your priorities? What are your priorities? The other piece in there, having something special. If you laugh, if you think, if you cry, if you're moved to emotions every single day, that is something special. And you know what? We have something special. It's this career. It's this calling of ours. We get the luxury of having that every single day. Think about it. We laugh in our careers all the time with the wonderful relationships that we have with each other through Gamma, with our clients, with our advisors. You heard Chris today talk about relationships and how that fulfills your life. So we get that every day. We laugh. We get to think every day in our career, in our profession. We get to think because of the intellectual stimulation this career provides. What a gift that is. And lastly, our emotions get moved because of the impact we make and the great work that we do. We change lives forever. And you see that with your clients. You see that with your advisors all the time. I want to focus this morning on the thinking piece. And the reason I want to focus on the thinking piece is because you become what you think about. I'm going to repeat that. You become what you think about. Earl Nightingale shared with us the strangest secret. And the strangest secret is, whatever you think about, you become. See, the human mind is like a field. It's like a bed of soil. Whatever you plant in that bed of soil, whatever you plant in your mind, it will return to you. If you plant soybeans in that field, soybeans will grow. If you plant nightshade, a poisonous plant, nightshade will grow. You become what you think about. And so, as we're thinking, in order to think, you have to ask questions. And great leaders ask great questions. And I want to talk a little bit about Jack Chain. Jack Chain, this is an interview he did, and this is what he shared with leadership and questions. 4-star General Jack Chain is a true leader. When he served as a staff officer in the Pentagon, his 10-year-old daughter asked him, "Daddy, what do you do?" He thought for a minute and he said, "I answer questions." Ties into maybe that manager thing we were talking about earlier. Later, when he made commander, when he got promoted, his daughter asked him how his new role would be different. His response, now I ask the questions. The difference between a manager and difference between a leader. So I want to pose 4 pretty big, monumental questions during our time together. Pose them to you to think about. Because this is a chance to think, to reflect, to be disposed. An opportunity to work on your business, not in your business. And the very first question we should think about is, what impact do I make? What impact do I make? When it comes to my family, how am I impacting and influencing my family? How about professionally? What impact am I making? And lastly, the community that I live in and serve in. How am I impacting that? Because remember that little time piece earlier? We have to prioritize our time properly to impact things. And I want to share with you the answer. When I reflected deeply on that question years ago, about what impact the firm, North Star Resource Group, that I get the privilege of leading and serving, I thought, what impact does North Star Resource Group make? And what made me think about that was I was watching the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl in the United States is the Professional Football Championships. It was in 2014, and I was hearing about how much money was going to flow into the host city of that Super Bowl. And cities, they bid for these Super Bowls because of the economic impact that it has. It brings about $1 billion to a city. And that made me think, what was the total economic impact that our firm made? And so we came up with this formula, and I call it the Changing Lives Forever number. Because that's what we do. We change lives forever. See, the firm changes the life of that advisor by giving them a wonderful career that has the 3 I's that you heard about earlier. Those advisors, in turn, are changing the lives of their clients forever by helping them to start and stay the course to financial security. And collectively, we're changing the lives of communities that we live in and serve. But here's the formula that we came up with. And we said, what's the total amount of life insurance we have in force? And that total came to $38 billion with a B. $38 billion. Every single one of those dollars, if we do our job properly, if we service that client properly, at some point, that life insurance policy is a promise to pay, and $38 billion is going to go back out into the communities at a time when it's needed most. Think about that. $38 billion. And the Super Bowl brings in $1 billion? The next number we decided to look at was the cash values in those life insurance policies. Almost $2 billion. $2 billion sitting there to be used for opportunities, education, emergencies, retirement funds, you name it. Those dollars at some point in time are going to go back out in the community. Next, we focused on the assets under management. We do a great deal in the securities world. Almost $7 billion. Those monies are going to go back out again in the form of retirement funds and a host of other things. And then the last thing we did is we totaled up our disability. We just said, If every single disability policy were to pay a 5-year benefit period, what would that look like? Just have a consistent formula. And there you see that number at about 7 billion. Add all that up, this year, we just calculated this number, our Changing Lives Forever number, the total economic impact our firm has in the world is $54 billion. That's about 20 Olympic Games, 50-some Super Bowls. But yet who celebrates this? Nobody. Just like we talked about celebrating mothers, we have to celebrate this. That's an incredible number. That's the impact we make. I share that with you because I hope that you do that for your own firms. Find a formula, see what impact you're making. There's advisors out there whose numbers are huge, bigger than Super Bowls themselves. Encourage your advisors to see what impact they're making with their practices. It gives you great purpose, because that's our purpose statement. It used to be a vision statement, changing lives forever. Today it's our purpose statement. I want to talk about, we just talked about the impact, about doing good. We get the opportunity in this profession to do well by doing good. I wrote this booklet back in 2006, right before I started my presidency of Gamma International. And this booklet, this pamphlet, is designed to give someone an idea of what this career is like. It's about a 10 to 15 minute read. It's a very gentle introduction into this wonderful calling of ours. And it addresses a few questions and talks about a few topics. And it touches on the 3 I's. You heard it earlier this morning. And those 3 I's are impact, independence, and income. We just talked about impact. I want you to think about this. When you talk about a career profession that you can really change someone's life forever, if you ever want to get filled up with gratitude, do this exercise. Take a piece of paper right across the top of it. I cannot imagine my life without. I cannot imagine my life without. And start writing down all the people, the relationships, the things that you could imagine your life without. You're going to get rich real quick because you're going to start counting your blessings. Well, our career gives us the chance where there's going to be points in your client's life, specifically when the uncertainties of life occur, when that untimely death, when that disability happens, you know what's going to go through your client's mind? I cannot imagine my life without, and the name of that advisor, the name of you. Think about that. Us leaders in the room, those people you're leading, the people you recruited and brought into this business, guess what they're going to write down on that piece of paper at some point in their life when they really want to be reflective and grateful? I cannot imagine my life without you, because you brought them into this great career. That's the first I, impact. And by the way, I'm very deliberate how I say impact's number 1. Number 2's independence. And you heard about that this morning. It's being in business for yourself, but never, never, never by yourself. And it's time freedom, and that's what independence is. And lastly, income. We really do well by doing good. I'm going to share with you, these are the actual income numbers of our advisors. I do this study every 2 years in our firm. And this is the incomes that they had in US dollars. In years 1 and 2, those advisors were earning roughly $45,000 a year. 2 and 3, 76. You see where it goes. Where it averages out is our top 10 advisors, they were averaging almost $1.5 million a year. Our top 50, which is our top third approximately, we have about 160 advisors, 170 advisors. Roughly our top third were earning over $600,000 a year. And any advisor over 5 years of experience is close to $400,000 a year. That puts them well within the top 1% of income earners in the country, in the United States. And you know what, to me, all that is? That simply is a scorecard. That's it. It's not about the money. But I think there's a correlation between the more good that you do, especially in our business, the more